Hi guys, Jacob Z with Jacob Z's Aquariums. I decided to do a video here where we're feeding our African cichlids some frozen bloodworms. Seems to be pretty popular in the video choice. See that one there has one in his mouth. My African leaffish, he just loves the bloodworms. He kind of hogs them up as soon as they come down. Also the dojo loach, as you can see. He'll suck them all up in one big gulp and doesn't really give the other guys a chance. So we'll probably put some ghost shrimp in here just because they kind of spread out a little more. And as you see, he just ate that entire cube by himself and it is gone. So he must have been hungry for bloodworms. I did not expect him to eat that whole cube like that, because usually the African leaf fish gets a hold of quite a few of them. Also, the dinosaur birch is one of his favorite little treats. He's sucking up whatever he can left over, but it appears that it's gone already. So we'll have to throw another ice cube in. We got a couple new fish for the cichlid tank. If you guys can see right here, we have a female white top afra. In the comments below, I'll post the scientific name for her. If anybody's interested, just comment below and let me know. But she's getting along nicely in the tank. She's a little bit older. I'd say she's a couple months older than the rest of the cichlids in my aquarium. You can see she's a lot bigger, and she's developed her color. And I did buy her as a pair with another male. And the male is actually younger than her, and if you can see him right here, he hasn't even developed his color yet. And the way you can determine male and female with these Afro cichlids is, let's get a little closer to this guy here. And you get the side view. Yep, you can see it right there, that little spot on his anal fin right there. Those are called egg spots, and only the males have them. So he's pretty colorless right now. We'll give him some time to develop his color. He should be blue and green as he gets older. And then he'll get, his top fin will turn white. And he might not be changing color yet because he's also not the tank boss in this aquarium. This guy right here, which we named John Marston. As you can see, he's extremely vibrant, and he's constantly flashing his fins at the other fish, letting them know that, hey, I'm the biggest male cichlid in this tank, and I'm in charge. So we do have him in here running around. I bought another one of his particular species, and this is called the electric blue Joanna fish. You can see this one's not as colorful as the other one just because he's so much younger, and he can't even compete with the larger male. So he's mostly been hiding out because he's one of the smaller fish in here. He's a little longer than this orange one here. Our mutt fish is what we've been calling this one. So my wife picked this one out at PetSmart. She kind of rescued him just because he didn't have a lot of color to him. So he was kind of just speckled all over, and I think she, thought he was the oddball of the bunch. So we did decide to give him a home with our cichlids here. As you can see, some of these other ones are coloring up nicely. They are getting a little bit older. And then we got the ACI fish, and he and she are another pair, but they're coloring up very nicely. When I first got them, they were almost black. Their coloring has changed significantly in this aquarium just because of the white substrate. I was told if I, kept it a lighter color that their colors would lighten up and they wouldn't be as dark. And as you can see from the previous videos I've took of these ACI cichlids, that they have significantly changed in color. They're like a light purple and their fins are brighter yellow. They've fattened up quite a bit. When we first got them, we did buy these ones from PetSmart as well, and they were extremely slender and skinny. And we've been feeding them a pretty healthy diet of cichlid flakes and cichlid sinking pellets. And then we give them, you know, brine shrimp and bloodworms quite a bit. It's just a little treat we put in the tank to, you know, kind of liven them up. And, you know, it's a little more natural food for them than just eating processed flakes all the time. And, you know, our dojo loach, who's back there, continues to grow tremendously. He does hog up the food as soon as we put it in there. He typically stays away from all the flakes. So does our African leaf fish, aka Leaf Erikson. He typically will only eat the brine shrimp and the bloodworms, so we do have to put in a cube at least once a day, just because he won't touch. I've tried giving him regular, you know, colored flakes. I've given him sinking flakes, and he just kind of refuses to eat anything else. And it's just his species. They prefer live food or frozen, you know, fresher food than that. Our camera keeps focusing on these fish because they want to keep coming up and showing off. Trying to get Leaf Erikson here. So he is still one of my favorites, and like I said, we've been keeping an eye on him, making sure he ain't getting picked at. And as you can see, there's no scars on him. His color's very nice. He's not got any tears in his fins. So, like I said, we're still keeping him in this tank, is, you know, for now. So I don't see any concerns to take him out. And our Dino Birch, he gets along very well. His name is Drago. My daughter named him that. And he continues to grow pretty well too. Not as fast as the dojo loach has grown, but this guy here, he just enjoys the tank. He swims through, like you can see the artificial anemone here. He's swimming through it right now, just playing. Very unique fish. We got our blue coral in this tank. As you can see, our bubble wall that we had up before actually had a crack in the stone that came with it. So temporarily, I'm using this little guy here. It's just a little coral bubbler. It doesn't put out nearly as much bubbles, and they're also a lot like denser, so they're bigger, round, fatter bubbles. So we're not getting that tiny bubble effect. I have a bubble wall on order, a new wand for the back of the aquarium. Hopefully, we did order that off of Amazon, so hopefully it gets here soon. Just to help aerate and oxygenize our tank a little better, because I don't know that this is going to do the job for too long. So, just an update on the 60-gallon aquarium. Like I said, we're always changing things, keeping the fish interested. There for the longest time, we had an issue with our cichlids surfing the glass. They call it glass surfing. They were going up and down along the side of the aquarium. And I just couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. I had a pH testing kit that was just your basic, you know, dip strip tester, and it only went to, I believe, 7.5 or 8, and that's what it was reading at. So cichlids do like a higher pH range, and since they had a high pH, I didn't see a cause for concern. So I was still getting kind of nervous about them running up and down the glass like that, and it continued for quite a few more days. And I did order a high range pH testing kit, and we were reading at nearly 10. So I think it's a little too much for these guys, and they like it between about 7.5 to 8 to up to 9, but I believe the water was just, you know, too acidic for them. I put some pH fizzy tablets, and they're just correct pH. I'll show you the box here. I actually dropped only like 4 of these in, And they're for 10 gallons per aquarium, but since they have a higher pH range, I got my tank down to about 8 for the pH for these cichlids. And, you know, my African cichlid and my African leaf fish, you know, I want them to both be able to coexist, so I want to keep it at about 8. Because he likes his pH range between 7 and 8, and these guys like it, you know, 8 to 9. So we put a few in, and I checked the pH on it, and it did go down to, like I said, 8.5. So, and out of nowhere, it stopped the glass surfing. Just, I noticed it today, more so than any other day. Like I said, my fish, all of them, were just in this corner for some reason, going up and down, and I Googled it. Some people said that it means nothing. Some people says it's stress. Some says it check the pH. Like I said, I did that pH, and as you can see, they're all just, they're very communicative lately. I mean, look, I mean, you can see the African leaf fish over here now when he was just over in this corner with these guys. And I got them pretty well sporadic throughout the tank now, which, you know, leaves a nicer view for anybody who wants to come by and look at them. You know, even this one here, the snow white cichlid, she was going up and down as well, and just, they were not stopping for nothing. So, you know, I put some plants in there. We did get a live marmo moss ball. It's over here in the corner, and you know, it's doing fine in our aquarium, and it helps keep your nitrates to almost nothing, you know, along with a couple live plants that we have. So I keep those nitrates pretty low with, you know, my marmo moss ball, and it does just fine in this aquarium. I found that, and I decided to stick it in here. I was worried, you know, about it falling apart, but they typically don't do that unless they're fakes, and this appears to be the, you know, the real deal. So it'll stay in a ball shape like that pretty much its whole life. Eventually, it'll start, like, it'll separate into another one, and then you just kind of round it off and stick it in another tank, or stick it in here, and you'll have 2 of them. It's almost like they reproduce, you know, into like having children almost. Like it pops one little out, and you know, then you can have a couple of them. And then you know, the tank is a little foggy because, like I said, we just fed them the bloodworms, but also I have a feeling it has to do with my bubbler system currently. Like I said, my stone broke, so it was just not a good deal, and that stone wall in the back was circulating my tank very well, and this little guy isn't doing the job that I want it to do. So we'll get that fixed as soon as we can. And you know, the Fuva filter is doing nicely. You know, you can even actually see inside there, you know, the stones in it, you know, that keep out the ammonia. They're doing their job. They're not getting too murky. We haven't changed the filter on this one, and we've had it in for, like, I'd say 2 weeks now. And just so we can start getting bacteria built up, I'm still not going to change it for a couple more weeks. And then once I do decide to clean it out, I'm only going to take out the sponge filter and the charcoal and replace it, and then we will keep those rocks in there a bit longer just to keep that bacteria growth in there. Because if you drastically, you know, if you take out all their filtration and put in new, it can actually harm the fish by removing the healthy bacteria that was in the filter, you know, helping cycle my tank. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys kind of a little information video on our cichlid tank and an update to what we've been doing and how it's been working out for us. Like I said, I had most of these guys in a 36-gallon aquarium, and they were just, you know, they were very, very juvenile. They were small. They were getting along well, but, you know, I knew I eventually was going to have to upgrade to a bigger tank, and my lovely wife allowed me to do so. Took some convincing to let me get this grand 60-gallon aquarium. You know, it's pretty pretty large aquarium. So, and it comes with a cabinet, and it is the 60-gallon long. So I really enjoy it. I come up here in the morning and watch the fish eat and drink coffee. So, alright guys, I hope you enjoyed my video. Stay tuned for more. Please like and subscribe.